First contact gone wrong. The quantum sensors aboard the UES Pathfinder lit up like a Christmas tree. Captain Sarah Chen stared at the readings with a mixture of anticipation and dread. After 3 decades of deep space exploration, humanity had finally detected signs of advanced alien civilization, and they were heading straight for Earth. Analysis confirmed, Captain. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his station. The energy signatures match nothing in our database. We're looking at technology far beyond our current understanding. The bridge fell silent as a massive vessel emerged from what appeared to be a tear in space itself. Its surface rippled like liquid metal, covered in geometric patterns that seemed to shift and change as they watched. The alien ship was easily 20 times the size of the Pathfinder. "Open all frequencies," Chen ordered, straightening her uniform. First contact protocols. Before they could broadcast their carefully crafted greeting, a beam of intense purple light swept across the Pathfinder. The ship's systems flickered but held steady. It was just a scan. A voice filled the bridge, speaking perfect English with an unnaturally precise accent. Primitive vessel detected. Species designation: human. Technology level: pre-singularity. Threat assessment: negligible. Chen's jaw tightened. She'd spent years preparing for first contact, but being dismissed so casually stung. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earth ship Pathfinder. We come in peace and wish to establish diplomatic relations. Your species has not yet achieved quantum consciousness integration or mastered dark energy manipulation." The voice responded. "You are not qualified for diplomatic relations with the Nexian Convergence. Maintain your current territory boundaries. Further expansion will result in immediate sanction." The massive ship began to turn away, apparently considering the conversation over. Chen exchanged glances with her crew. Years of preparation and protocols, and they were being brushed off like insects. With respect, Chen called out, "Humanity has much to offer. We request a formal meeting to demonstrate our capabilities and potential for collaboration." The alien vessel paused. After a moment, the voice returned. "Your persistence is noted. Very well. You may send one representative to our embassy vessel. Be advised that any hostile action will result in your species' immediate reclassification as a threat." Chen knew this was humanity's one chance to prove themselves. "I volunteer to." A new voice cut through the communication channel. Dr. James Wilson, the ship's chief scientist. "Captain, those energy readings, they're not just advanced technology. They're breaking fundamental laws of physics. The Nexians aren't just ahead of us technologically. They're rewriting reality itself." The implications hit Chen like a physical blow. If the Nexians could manipulate the basic forces of the universe, humanity wasn't just dealing with a more advanced civilization. They were facing beings who might as well be gods. But something else caught her attention. The Nexians' dismissal had been too quick, too absolute. They hadn't even bothered to study human culture or history. Their arrogance might be their weakness. "Dr. Wilson," Chen said quietly, "prepare every scrap of data we have on human innovation and adaptation. Lieutenant Rodriguez, get me a secure channel to Earth Command. The Nexians think they know exactly what humanity is capable of, and that's going to be their first mistake." As Chen prepared for her diplomatic mission, she couldn't shake the feeling that this first contact was about to go very wrong. The Nexians' casual dismissal of humanity reminded her of too many similar moments in human history: technologically superior forces underestimating those they considered beneath them. The Pathfinder's crew worked through the night, preparing for Chen's departure. They compiled histories of human achievement, examples of innovation under pressure, and cases where humanity had overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. But more importantly, they prepared contingency plans. "Remember," Chen told her crew before departing, "no matter what happens, humanity has one advantage they'll never expect. We've spent our entire history learning to think outside the box. While they're rewriting the laws of physics, we'll be rewriting the rules of the game." As her shuttle approached the massive Nexian vessel, Chen smiled grimly. The Nexians might have mastered the fundamental forces of the universe, but they were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology. It was in their ability to adapt, improvise, and overcome. The shuttle bay doors opened like a geometric flower blooming in space, and Chen's small craft was swallowed by the metallic giant. Whatever happened next would determine the future of human-alien relations, and possibly the survival of the human race itself. First contact had begun, and despite all their protocols and preparation, Chen knew that humanity's greatest test wouldn't be in following the rules, it would be in knowing when to break them. The power of human adaptation. The meeting with the Nexians went exactly as badly as Captain Chen had feared. She stood in Earth's United Defense Council chamber, delivering her report to grim-faced officials. "They've given us an ultimatum," Chen explained, her voice steady despite the weight of her words. "Either we accept their protection, which means complete technological dependence on them, or they'll forcibly contain us within our solar system. They consider our potential for growth too dangerous to leave unchecked." Admiral Hassan leaned forward, his weathered face creased with concern. "And their capabilities. Beyond anything we've imagined. They don't just have advanced technology. They can literally alter the fabric of space-time. They've mastered quantum manipulation at a level that makes our best theories look like Stone Age tools." The chamber erupted in worried murmurs, but Dr. Wilson stepped forward. "That's true, but they have a critical weakness. They're so advanced that they've forgotten how to think simply. Every solution must be elegant, perfect, utilizing their quantum manipulation technology. They'd lost the ability to improvise." That caught everyone's attention. Chen nodded, understanding where Wilson was going. "During my time on their ship, I noticed something. They have no redundant systems, no backup plans. Why would they? Their technology never fails. They've evolved past the need for contingencies. And that's where we come in," Hassan said, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "While they're thinking in quantum strings, we'll be thinking in steel cables and duct tape." The next few weeks saw humanity doing what it did best, adapting. As Nexian ships took up position around Earth's solar system, preparing their containment field, humans worked frantically to prepare their defense. In garages and workshops across the planet, ordinary people began modifying everyday technology. Ham radio operators discovered that certain frequencies could interfere with Nexian quantum communications. Teenagers playing with smartphone apps found ways to detect Nexian energy signatures. A group of video game designers created combat simulators that could predict Nexian battle patterns. The Nexians watched these preparations with amused condescension. Their scans showed nothing that could possibly threaten their quantum-level technology. They didn't understand that humanity's greatest weapons weren't the ones that showed up on scans. When the Nexians began deploying their containment field, they expected submission. Instead, they got chaos. Thousands of small, improvised devices activated simultaneously across Earth and its colonies, creating a cascade of interference patterns that disrupted their quantum field generators. The Nexians' response was predictable. They launched their first attack. What wasn't predictable was humanity's defense. Instead of trying to match the Nexians' advanced technology, humans used their own limitations as weapons. Old-style projectile weapons, considered primitive by Nexian standards, passed right through their quantum shields. Radio-controlled drones, too simple to be affected by their quantum disruption fields, slipped past their defenses. And most surprisingly, human ships started using intentionally erratic flight patterns based on sports plays and dance movements, patterns so illogical that they confused Nexian targeting systems. "They expect us to fight like they do," Chen explained to her crew as the Pathfinder joined Earth's defensive fleet. "They expect elegant solutions and perfect strategies. Instead, we're going to show them how humans fight, with whatever works, no matter how inelegant or improvised it might be." The first major battle proved her right. When a Nexian dreadnought approached Earth, it was met not with advanced energy weapons, but with a swarm of modified communication satellites that broadcast on precisely the frequencies that interfered with their quantum systems. While the Nexians worked to adapt their perfect technology to this primitive assault, Earth's ships attacked using tactics borrowed from Earth's ancient naval battles. The Nexian ship retreated, its crew confused and alarmed by the sheer unpredictability of human warfare. They had expected a civilization to either match their technological level or be helpless against it. They hadn't expected a species that could turn its own technological limitations into advantages. In their command centers, Nexian leaders struggled to understand what was happening. Their quantum probability computers, capable of predicting the movements of entire galaxies, couldn't make sense of human battle strategies. How could a species fight so effectively with such primitive technology? The answer, of course, was simple, though the Nexians were far too advanced to see it. Humans had spent their entire history learning to work with whatever they had available. While the Nexians had evolved past the need for backup plans and improvisation, humans had made adaptation into an art form. As the first day of battle ended, Captain Chen stood on the Pathfinder's bridge, watching Earth's improvised defense fleet hold its position. "Send word to command," she ordered. "Tell them Operation Monkey Wrench is working. The Nexians don't just underestimate us, they fundamentally don't understand us, and that's going to be their downfall." Innovation under pressure. The Nexians' second wave of attacks came with devastating efficiency. Their quantum-shifted weapons bypassed traditional defenses, and their probability engines predicted most of Earth's conventional military responses. But they still couldn't account for human creativity. Dr. Wilson sat in his makeshift lab aboard the Pathfinder, surrounded by a peculiar combination of cutting-edge technology and jury-rigged household items. "It's not about matching their technology," he explained to Captain Chen. "It's about using what they consider worthless in ways they'd never imagine." The breakthrough came from an unlikely source, a teenager's social media algorithm. Maya Patel, a 16-year-old programmer from Mumbai, had created an app that predicted viral trends. When applied to Nexian battle patterns, it revealed something extraordinary. Their quantum probability engines operated on principles similar to social network behavior. "They're not just predicting our moves," Maya explained over a hastily established video link. "They're predicting the most probable outcomes based on known patterns, just like my algorithm predicts which posts will go viral. But you can't predict viral trends with perfect accuracy because human behavior isn't purely logical." Chen immediately saw the potential. "Dr. Wilson, can we use this?" Wilson was already typing furiously. "If we combine Maya's algorithm with our quantum communication experiments, yes, we can create quantum noise that mimics human unpredictability. It won't destroy their probability engines, but it'll flood them with so many potential outcomes that they'll be useless." The next Nexian attack found their probability engines overwhelmed with quantum noise patterned after human social media behavior. Their perfect predictions became useless, forcing them to rely on more conventional tactics, exactly where humanity's experience with warfare gave them an edge. But humanity's greatest innovation came from an even more unexpected source. Dr. Sarah Zhang, a marine biologist, noticed something about the way dolphins used echolocation that sparked an idea. Working with Wilson's team, she developed a system that used Earth's oceans as massive quantum resonance chambers. "The Nexians think in terms of controlling quantum states," Zhang explained. "But Earth's oceans are already massive quantum systems, constantly shifting and changing. We can use them to amplify our quantum signals in ways the Nexians never considered." The oceans became humanity's secret weapon. While the Nexians focused on space-based quantum manipulation, humans turned their entire planet into a quantum amplification device. Every wave, every current, became part of Earth's defense system. But the most powerful innovation came from understanding the Nexians themselves. Cultural anthropologists studying Nexian communication patterns discovered they operated on pure logic, unable to grasp the power of human intuition and emotional intelligence. "They've evolved past emotions," explained Dr. Rajesh Kapoor, lead sinoanthropologist. They see them as primitive, wasteful. But that means they can't understand or predict actions based on hope, fear, love, or sacrifice. Humanity began incorporating this understanding into their strategy. Military operations were no longer just about tactical advantage. They included elements designed to confuse and disturb the Nexians' logical worldview. Ships performed maneuvers based on dance choreography. Communication patterns followed musical rhythms. Battle formations took inspiration from abstract art. The Nexians found themselves facing an enemy that didn't just think differently. It thought in ways their hyper-evolved minds couldn't process. Their perfect technology, designed for a universe of pure logic and predictable patterns, struggled against human chaos and creativity. Captain Chen stood on the Pathfinder's bridge, watching Earth's combined fleet execute a battle formation based on a classical ballet. "They gave us their technology specifications thinking we'd be intimidated," she said. "Instead, we used that knowledge to turn our weaknesses into strengths." They never considered that knowing the rules meant knowing how to break them effectively. As the battle continued, humanity's innovations kept coming. Every defeat led to new adaptations. Every setback sparked new ideas. The Nexians found themselves facing not just one approach, but millions, each human adding their own unique perspective to the fight. "That's the real power of human creativity," Wilson told Chen as they watched another successful defense. "It's not just about finding one perfect solution. It's about finding countless imperfect solutions and making them work together in ways no one could predict. Not even quantum probability engines." The Nexians had expected to find a primitive species clinging to outdated technology. Instead, they found one that could turn anything, from ocean waves to social media algorithms to ballet moves, into a weapon. Their perfect technology was being defeated not by superior force, but by superior creativity. And as they retreated to regroup and recalculate, the Nexians faced an uncomfortable realization. They had evolved past the very things that might have helped them understand and counter human innovation: emotion, intuition, and the ability to embrace chaos. The human factor. The Nexians' third wave brought something new: synthetic soldiers designed to match human unpredictability. But they'd made another crucial mistake. They'd tried to quantify the unquantifiable. Captain Chen watched the battlefield hologram as Earth's forces engaged the new threat. The synthetic soldiers were impressive, incorporating randomness generators and chaos algorithms. But they still couldn't replicate true human intuition. "They're trying to create artificial unpredictability," Dr. Wilson observed. "But they're doing it with logic. It's like trying to write a program that generates true randomness, impossible by definition." Earth's forces had spread throughout the solar system, using asteroids and planetary bodies in ways the Nexians never expected. Jupiter's radiation belts became stealth corridors. Saturn's rings provided cover for guerrilla attacks. Even solar flares were turned into weapons, with human ships surfing the plasma waves to achieve impossible maneuvers. The Pathfinder led a particularly daring mission through the Sun's corona, using the massive electromagnetic interference to mask their approach. The Nexians, despite their advanced technology, couldn't comprehend why any species would risk such dangerous tactics. "That's what they still don't understand," Chen told her crew. "Sometimes the most logical choice is to do something completely illogical." Humanity's greatest advantage wasn't just their ability to think outside the box. It was their willingness to throw the box away entirely when necessary. While Nexian commanders sought perfect solutions, human leaders embraced controlled chaos. Military historians dug through Earth's past, resurrecting forgotten tactics from ancient battles. Psychological warfare experts studied Nexian communications, finding ways to introduce doubt into their perfectly logical minds. Artists and musicians joined the effort, creating patterns and rhythms that confused Nexian targeting systems. The synthetic soldiers began to falter. Their programming, despite its complexity, couldn't adapt to human warriors who fought with both strategy and emotion. A squadron of Earth fighters might follow textbook maneuvers one moment, then switched to tactics based on basketball plays the next. But the true turning point came when humanity stopped trying to match Nexian technology and instead focused on using it against them. Earth's quantum physicists had been studying captured Nexian tech, not to replicate it, but to find its limitations. Their quantum fields operate on perfect mathematical principles, Dr. Zhang explained during a strategy session. But reality isn't perfect. There are always fluctuations, chaos factors. We can't match their control over quantum states, but we can introduce just enough chaos to disrupt them. Earth's ships began carrying quantum disruptors, not sophisticated enough to manipulate quantum states like Nexian tech, but perfect for creating the equivalent of quantum static. Combined with unpredictable battle tactics, it proved devastatingly effective. The Nexians found themselves in an impossible position. Their technology required precision and predictability to function, but they were facing an enemy that thrived on imperfection and chaos. Every attempt to analyze and counter human tactics only led to more confusion. "Send the order," Chen commanded as Earth's combined fleet prepared for their biggest offensive yet. Operation Chaos begins now. Across the solar system, human forces launched simultaneously, but each group used different tactics, some based on military doctrine, others on sports strategies, dance movements, or even children's games. The Nexians' probability engines, trying to predict and counter each approach, began to overload. They made one fundamental mistake, Chen said, watching the Nexian fleet fall into disarray. They assumed that because we're less advanced, we must be less intelligent. They never understood that technology and intelligence aren't the same thing. As the battle reached its climax, humanity's greatest weapon proved to be the one thing the Nexians couldn't quantify or understand: the human spirit. No amount of advanced technology could prepare them for a species that would charge into certain death for their beliefs, sacrifice themselves for others, or succeed simply because they refused to accept failure as an option. Victory through diversity. The final confrontation began at dawn, Earth time. The Nexian Supreme Command had committed their entire fleet, determined to end humanity's resistance once and for all. Their quantum ships filled the space around Earth's solar system, their technology capable of rewriting the laws of physics themselves. But they still didn't understand what they were fighting. Captain Chen stood on the Pathfinder's bridge, watching as humanity's combined fleet took formation. Every ship carried technology that would have been considered impossible just months ago, not because of advanced engineering, but because of innovative thinking. "All commands, execute Operation Babel," Chen ordered. Across the solar system, humanity's forces began moving in patterns that defied conventional military logic. Ships from India followed formations based on classical dance. American vessels executed maneuvers inspired by football plays. Japanese squadrons moved in patterns derived from Zen garden designs. The Nexians' probability engines crashed trying to predict the unpredictable. Their quantum fields, designed for perfect efficiency, couldn't adapt to the chaos of human creativity. Dr. Wilson's voice came over the comm. "Maya's algorithm is working. Their quantum networks are overwhelmed trying to process too many possibilities simultaneously." Earth's fleet struck from all directions, using every trick they'd learned. Civilian ships turned their communication arrays into quantum disruptors. Mining vessels used industrial equipment as weapons. Even space stations joined the fight, their rotating habitats creating gravitational distortions that confused Nexian targeting systems. The Nexian Supreme Commander's voice echoed across all frequencies. "This defies logic. Your technology is inferior. Your methods are chaotic. You cannot prevail." "That's exactly why we will," Chen responded. "You've forgotten that the universe itself isn't logical. Evolution doesn't follow perfect patterns. Life isn't about finding the most efficient solution. It's about finding solutions that work." As if to prove her point, Earth's forces launched their final assault. Each ship, each squadron, each fleet moved according to its own unique pattern. Some followed complex mathematical models, Others moved to music rhythms. Still others relied purely on human intuition. The Nexian fleet, unable to predict or counter so many different approaches simultaneously, began to break apart. Their perfect formation shattered as they tried to adapt to thousands of different combat styles at once. "They wanted us to fight like them," Chen said, watching the Nexian fleet fall into disarray. "Instead, we fought like ourselves, like humans, not with one perfect strategy, but with millions of imperfect ones working together." The battle reached its climax as Earth's combined fleet executed their final maneuver. Ships moved in patterns based on everything from particle physics to contemporary dance, creating a chaotic symphony of motion that overwhelmed the Nexians' defensive systems. The Nexian Supreme Commander's final transmission carried a note of something their species had evolved past ages ago: humility. "We do not understand. How can such primitive methods defeat perfect technology?" "Because perfection is predictable," Chen replied. "And humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to be unpredictable, to adapt, to find new ways forward when the obvious path is blocked." In the aftermath of their victory, humanity emerged, not just survived, but transformed. They had proven that advancement didn't always mean moving in a straight line toward technological perfection. Sometimes it meant embracing chaos, celebrating diversity, and finding strength in the very imperfections that others saw as weaknesses. The Nexians retreated from Earth space, fundamentally changed by their encounter with humanity. They had come expecting to find a primitive species in need of guidance. Instead, they found teachers. Teachers who showed them that true evolution meant maintaining the ability to adapt, to think creatively, and to see strength in diversity. Captain Chen stood in the United Defense Council chamber once again, this time delivering a very different report. "The Nexians have requested to open diplomatic relations," she announced. "But this time, they're not approaching us as superiors. They're approaching us as equals. They want to learn from us." "Learn what?" Admiral Hassan asked. Chen smiled. "How to think like humans again."